All right, we've made it to the last part of this 5-part series, and in this video we're going to finish up the propane regulator installation. We're going to fire everything up and do a leak check on the propane and the water. We're going to complete the installation, and we'll go ahead and put a little sealant around the door flange on the outside as well. And hey, thanks a lot for stopping by. I really appreciate you guys coming. And I really want to shout out and say thanks to Nick and Carrie for accommodating us on our little journey. I hope this video helps you. You can check us out at the Need to Know channel. That's Rick and Lynelle. If you were to put that into your search engine, you would find us. And go ahead and subscribe because we're going to have a whole bunch of other videos coming out, and it should be a whole lot of fun. Thanks again. Enjoy the journey. Talk to you later. Now, we're going to dope ourselves up real good here. Well, not us. We're going to dope our fittings up real
Right.
good. I myself don't feel like I need any dope.
Me neither. Got coffee.
Coffee does a good job.
It's
Yep.
liquid love.
Liquid love.
That first sip in the morning, yeah.
And nothing like it.
Nope.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be laying there in bed and I don't have to get up yet.
Yeah.
And I'll get up early just because I know that the automatic timer on the coffee maker has already gone off and the coffee's ready.
Yeah, you don't want to
And
get
I'll
cold.
be like, I'm going to get up and get some coffee. All right.
I don't even wake up until I take that first sip.
No, and how could you? I mean,
Yeah.
is it even possible to wake up until after you take the first sip?
I don't think so. Everything seems to go wrong if you miss your coffee.
It does.
Yeah.
Your whole day is going to be off to a very bad start if you miss your coffee.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
now this one here has got to be a little bit snugger than what the other ones were. So I'm going to work a little harder at this one. There, I think we're good. Okay.
So they say on that putty, I talked to a expert on propane installations, and he said to use either blue or gray. He says don't get the white.
Right, yeah, you know, and that's exactly the same thing with the Teflon tape too. If you just use the white Teflon tape on propane, that's probably not going to work very well for you. Whereas, well, now we'll just screw these back in here. And see, Nick's got this T in here, and that goes down to his large propane tank there, and so that's what he's actually feeding this system with. This valve right here is if I have it in this position here, it'll feed off of this tank. If I stick it over in this position, it's going to feed off of this tank. If I have it straight up and down, it'll automatically switch. It'll start on one of the tanks, whichever one it decides to start on first. It'll start on one of the tanks, and it'll empty that tank out. And as soon as that tank's empty, then it'll automatically switch over and use up the other tank.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's what that does, yeah.
Nice.
So you don't have to actually decide which. You can, but you don't have to. If you leave it in the middle, it'll make that decision all by itself.
See, that's nice in the summertime when I only use these tanks.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
Good info to have.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I think our propane is hooked up now. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, what are we pointing at, Nick?
The water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to test all of our systems, right? Because we just took our water system apart, we took our propane system apart, so now we want to check everything and make sure that we don't have any leaks anywhere before we do anything else. Okay.
Well, he's going through feeling every individual line, making sure there's absolutely no leaks at all, which is a wise move.
Now, while I'm down here, I want to show you the back of this hot water heater. There's one more thing that, see this little valve right here? This is an extra additional restrictor that they give you to restrict your water flow if you need to, if your water flow is too high. Yep. Okay, so we're going to fire up the propane and then we're going to test to make sure that we don't have any leaks. And Nick's got his propane going. So we've got a nifty little bottle of soapy water here, and we're gonna go ahead and check our fittings. And in theory, if we had any leaks here, we'd be getting bubbles. And I can see plainly that there are no bubbles forming. So that's good. Those two are good. Now we'll check this connector here. All right. I don't see any bubbles. Now what we're going to do too, and I always do this when I'm checking for leaks, is I will let that sit for a couple of minutes and come back and look to see if there's like a little nest of bubbles coming up. We're going to run around the other side over here and check our connector at the hot water tank, or the hot water heater. Kind of get used to the fact that it's not a tank anymore. Okay. Alrighty, and negative, no leaks. Alright, so there we go, folks. We went ahead and checked the whole system out, and it all worked great. So now that we've got that all done, we're just going to go ahead and mount our controller up to the panel here, and that goes right through like that. So now the only thing that we really need to know is where our screws are going to end up being, so that we can pilot us up some holes. And actually I don't think we'll do that. We'll just go ahead and mount it directly up while we're here, while we got everything handy. Boom. Gentle so I don't crack the plastic. What do you guys think? Do you think that's about level?
That looks good right there.
Okay, sure. It looks like it should be a little bit more like that.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I have an astigmatism too, so I could be completely off base on that. I don't see things in the exact dimensions that they really are. Okay, there's another screw, and that is mounted to the panel.
Wow.
Then all we really got to do is slip the bezel back on the outside here to give it a little bit more of a trimmed finish, and there it is, folks. That installation is complete. Now, one more thing. I'm turning on the water slow to see what happens.
Wait for that to light up.
There it
so
is. There it
people
is.
can see that.
Okay, now what was really kind of interesting is I wanted to catch Nick taking the door off of that thing, and I went to grab the camera. He started pulling the door. By the time I got the camera, he already had the door off, so I missed that whole operation. But the reason we took that door off is because we're going to seal around the outside edge of the flange for the water tank, this flange right here. We're going to seal around the outside edge of that just to make sure no water gets in there. Even though we have the butyl tape in there, we want a little extra security to make sure that everything stays nice and dry. Sealing 101. Whatever you do, don't do what I do. Because I am not a sealing expert. Some of the guys I work with are. I am not. So we're going to go around this, and we're going to make a mess out of this so that Nick has to scrape all this stuff off later and redo it.
Nah. It'll look good when it's done.
Ha 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 ha. You haven't ever seen me seal before, have you, Nick?
No. But you're doing a good job.
Now, if I were really good, I would be able to lay this down in just one smooth, easy deal, but I'm not that good. So I'm going to take my finger and go like this and kind of smear it around everywhere.
Well, the color's pretty forgiving. It matches the RV, so.
Yeah. I could have gotten like a fluorescent color of some sort.
Right.
Made it a little more interesting. Okay, and down this side. This is the critical side here. I'm going to kind of want to fill up this gap in here too. And again, without getting too much out here on the outside of that.
Well, filling that gap was professional.
Well, scary so. Now it looks like I've got good butyl tape squeeze out down here, so I don't think I'm going to continue on there, but I'm going to go ahead and fill this gap here. Now, if you ever have to take this door off, Nick, I am telling you right now that this Gorilla silicone caulking is you're going to be cussing me. You are not going to be happy with me at all.
Oh, no way, because it's going to keep it sealed nice.
Oh, it'll keep it sealed.
Manufacturer doesn't even seal it, and it leaks.
Yeah. Well, I think anytime you do anything like your window frames or these doors on your RV, you do the butyl tape and you do the sealant. It's important to do both.
A double whammy.
Yeah. And again, we're just going to kind of come down around here, the edge of the bottom. We don't really need to cover too much across the very bottom of this thing, because water leaks down, it doesn't leak up.
Gravity.
Yep, gravity. So I think that should seal it off okay, Nick.
I think you did a great job.
All right.
I would have hired you.
So now all we got to do is put the door back on, and we're probably not going to do that until the sealant cures. So with that, I think we're going to conclude this video.
Thank you,
Good day,
Rick.
Nick?
Yeah, thank you
Good
very
day?
much.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for having me over again. All right.
Anytime, Rick.